I would say, since I've been here, the best game that I've been a part of as a Lion. All three phases, like you said, defense, offense, special teams. Starting as an offense, I don't think we punted once.
You know, that was what we wanted to see, if we could bounce back after taking a tough loss and see what kind of team we are. We went out and we dominated that game from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we execute our game plan, we can certainly compete with anybody. We have to go out there and execute the game plan, and we did that really well today. And now it's just a question of, can we replicate that next week, and then the week after that, and then the week after that.
And that, fellas, is called dropping a 40 burger on the Jags on Sunday. Who knew? Who knew that we were going to come out and just dominate for 4 straight quarters, top to bottom, guys? Man, the game started out just in the best possible way and concluded in the best possible way. Let's talk about the Lions. Week 13, 40-14. 40! That's a 40 burger we dropped on the Jags. Sunday, week 13. Let's go. Welcome to Detroit! Alright, hey, welcome back, fellas. Hat and Beard Gang, let's do this thing. Before we get too far down the road, though, hey, I'm going to ask you to do me a huge favor. Go ahead and hit like on the video if you're enjoying the content that I provide, and if you really want to help support the channel, go ahead and click subscribe so that you, can be part of this thing that we're growing here. And man, if you're really feeling froggy, go ahead and ring the bell for it so that you never miss out on any notifications. Now that's out of the way, let's talk about the Lions' Week 13 smashing of the Jacksonville Jaguars. There isn't a whole lot that we can really say, fellas. The stats speak for themselves. We came out and we just pummeled them for 4 quarters. Their opening possession, we created a turnover. That turnover, if you pay attention to how that turnover happened, was all heart, guys. That was all our team playing with a high energy motor, man. It was our players finishing to the play. It's something that as Lions fans we've never really seen before, where a whole unit operates as one. I mean, it was all effort. Deshaun Elliott ripped the ball out. It was all effort. He just pulled that ball right out, and then our defense converged on the fumble like a whole unit. You've seen Jaguars players were just kind of lollygagging and playing patty cake and, not really paying attention, not playing through to the whistle, where our players are out here. Dude, you guys, we have been playing such fundamentally sound football that you're seeing the benefit and how that translates on the field, and it puts W's out there. So we stole the first possession on their opening drive, and we were able to capitalize. Not only did we steal the possession, but we were able to come out and we put points on the board, and that was beautiful because when you steal the opening possession like that, you're then getting the ball back in the second half, which means that you can kind of dictate the flow of the entire game, which we did. Big PP Ben Johnson called an amazing game. His toys that he has to play with now, with Swift being healthy, with Shark being healthy, and you guys know I've been dogging Shark all season long. I feel like he might be playing a little bit because he's feeling a little bit of pressure from Jameson Williams, and I was so happy to see... You guys, I was sitting here watching the game with Hat and Boobs, and every single time J-Mo was on the field, I just started pointing at the screen. I was like, there he is, look at him, He's so fast. Even on decoy plays, fellas, we knew he had one target, and I think they threw him that one target at the end of the game there, it was like back into the third quarter, just to kind of throw him, just because Dan Campbell was talking about getting his legs out from, underneath him there, trying to really acclimate him, and we're trying to ease him into it, I don't expect him to see a full workload rotation yet, but it was good to see him out there on decoys, because man, if you guys pay attention, Jameson Williams just in decoy plays was burning his defensive player so badly that within his first 3 steps, if you watched any type of DB was playing on any type of press coverage on him up close on the line, he was getting them DBs to turn their hips and start pursuing him within his first couple of moves off the line, man. That's amazing speed, you guys. I can't wait to have this threat. It's going to be so good to have Jameson Williams back on the field. But Ben Johnson has all these toys to play with, and you've now seen where DeAndre Swift being healthy, how much more, he was still producing when he was hurt, and I've been kind of hard on him all season long, and I'm going to continue to be hard on him all season long. I expect you to be able to carry the workload. But DeAndre Swift came out, and he's now kind of taken over the lead back role from Jamal Williams. Be it that's how the game was scripted, or because it's nice to have these 2 complementary backs that can be efficient when the other one is inefficient, because Jamal Williams was not as productive as he generally is, and he's starting to now be, more so just that goal line back, which is why he leads the NFL in touchdowns. And this game, he's actually scored more touchdowns this season than in his first 5 seasons in the NFL. He's now 14 rushing touchdowns, whereas first 5 seasons he only amassed 13 rushing touchdowns, which that's awesome, man. I'm a huge Jay Willie fan. But with Jay Willie being effectively inefficient and having a completely different style of running back that is as electrifying as DeAndre Swift, and the fact that he's healthy now and being able to play at a full workload, he was able to take over the main duties in the backfield. And DeAndre Swift, even when he was hurt, he was electric. So now when he's 100% healthy, he is borderline an elite running back as far as his skill set is concerned. And if he can stay healthy, he would be an elite running back. But he has an elite running back skill set. ASB has now supplanted himself as a top 5 wide receiver in the league. Top 10, top 5 easily. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the best wide receivers in the league, and I used to compare him to Hines Ward, but he does more than Hines Ward did with the ball in his hands. He does similar things to Hines Ward with the ball out of his hands, but you can't really compare him. And I think ASB is starting to separate himself from other wide receivers where you can't really draw a good comparison. And that's awesome to have on your team, a guy that is so good that he can't really draw a comparison. I love ASB, man. We are so lucky to have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then now you're going to couple him with that big-time deep threat that J-Mo's going to possess. And, I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is just going to eat up the middle of the defense. Moving TJ Hutchinson out of Detroit opened up the field for ASB to play in the middle where he thrives really well. I'm not saying he can't go over the top, but he does so much in the middle of the field that maybe your fast, deep threat wide receivers are too afraid or don't want to go over the middle and get their head knocked off. I mean, Amon-Ra takes his shots, man. He gets hit pretty hard, and I can't blame him. But he keeps getting up, and he's like, yeah, it might hurt for a couple of minutes, but then he comes right back in. He plays tough, dude. Amon-Ra St. Brown is just an awesome weapon for us to have. And Ben Johnson is being able to put it all together. When you incorporate all of these pieces together, and him and Jared Goff seem to have a mind meld going on where they understand each other. And Jared Goff has a complete grasp of Ben Johnson's offense. And all of these things clicking at once, and then you start to bring in some healthy. Our offensive line's going to get, Jonah Jackson is back. Soon Evan Brown will be back. When you start to trend in this direction of all of your players getting healthy and everything kind of clicking at once, I know it's an uphill fight, fellas. I know it's an uphill fight, but our offense is good enough to possibly push us to actually make a push for the playoffs. Defensively, Aaron Glenn did exactly what I told you guys Aaron Glenn was going to do. Aaron Glenn came out and he had a plan. He had spent the last 10 days figuring out how to shut down the Jacksonville Jaguars' weapons. Yeah, Christian Kirk had a couple of catches. Yeah, Marvin Jones had 1 catch for 17 yards. Yeah, Evan Ingram, we're not good against tight ends, guys. We don't have the linebackers to cover against tight ends as well as, we probably should, so opposing teams can take advantage of that. Luckily, our players are doing enough to shut down everything. Their running game was non-existent. And our pass rush is really starting to come on these past few weeks, guys. These past few weeks, our pass rush is what has elevated the entire defense. Be it Hutch, be it John Kaminsky, be it Aleem McNeil, or be it the last 2 weeks, the sudden emergence of our another late-round pick Brad Holmes player is emerging as a superstar. Nah, I'm not going to say James Houston is a superstar yet. When you look at it, James Houston has as many sacks as both the first overall pick, Trayvon Walker, and the guy who everyone else thought the Lions were going to take at number 2, Kayvon Thibodeau. James Houston, as a 6th-round pick, has come on and just emerged as a up-and-coming player that you can put in rotation, and when he's on the field, statistically speaking, a high chance of him having a volatile, explosive play. He has 3 sacks, and he's only been on the field maybe 15 snaps this whole season. Our defense's pressure has been able to do exactly what I've been preaching about all season long. If you can generate a good pass rush, it makes up for deficiencies on the back end. We know that even our best corner, Jeff Okudah, isn't as elite as, say, Jair Alexander, right? And Kirby Joseph, even though he's emerging as an up-and-coming superstar as a safety, he's still a rookie and still can be taken advantage of. And Will Harris is not that great. But again, when you take these players and you make the quarterback have to play under pressure, make ill-advised throws, it elevates the play and covers up a lot of your deficiencies. And Aaron Glenn has all of these parts, and he's able to piece it all together. Like I've been saying all season, he's just got this rotating box of toys that he's just deploying out for specific situations, and he's really started to understand what teams are doing and how we can counteract. And you're seeing a lot of chess being played on the field, both with our offense and our defense. And it's really good to see the growth of not only our players but our coaching staff as well. And not for nothing, but our defense is going to be getting Romeo Okwara back here pretty soon. So our pass rush is only going to get theoretically even better. And I know it's an uphill fight, fellas. I'm going to keep saying it. We have the odds stacked against us. The way everything is trending for us, with how everything's clicking on the field, with how all of our players are getting healthy, with how our coaching staff's figuring it out, fellas. These are all really good indicators of a franchise that's finally bringing it all together and finally starting to build something that we can expect good things out of moving towards the future. And the future is something that I kind of want to talk about in this video. Our future is still cloudy because at 5-7, we can still make the playoffs, but again, it's going to be an uphill fight. And the future of our team now, we've been talking for the last year and a half about the inefficiencies of Jared Goff and his shortcomings. But when you start to actually look at the statistics of it, Jared Goff has already surpassed 3,000 yards passing this season. And I mean, at one point we were concerned in the offseason that Jared Goff wasn't even going to get to 3,000 yards this season. And when you look at his home numbers, Jared Goff at home has thrown 17 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. That is a huge differential. That is elite level differentials right there. Jared Goff has also thrown for more touchdowns this year than he did last year. I know it's not pretty all the time, but him and his wide receiver group have enough, cohesion between them that they are able to now catch his passes. He's been there for 2 years now. He has this bond with ASB, this understanding with these players on what he's expecting them to do or what he'll expect them to do in a situation, so he can put the ball, as ugly as the pass might be, where it needs to be. And I'm not saying Jared Goff's mobile, but we have seen him get out of the pocket and rush for a couple of first downs this year. So really the question is Jared Goff the future of the franchise? He's under contract for the next 2 years. Jared Goff is playing really well. Jared Goff understands the offense. Jared Goff and Ben Johnson seem to understand one another. Jared Goff is, in fact, not the problem of our team at all. There's really not many there's shortcomings, but there's no glaring huge problem right now that we need to say that's what we need to address. So the question then becomes, do we force a first-round pick? Because remember, guys, we have 5 picks in the first 75 picks. We got 2 in the first, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third. Do we spend one of those coveted first-round picks on a quarterback? Do we, try and get a CJ Stroud or a Bryce Young or take a flyer on like a Will Levis? Is this the class that you say, okay, I have to have this quarterback on my franchise? This is the guy who's going to take me over the top and make us playoff contenders, win us division titles for the next 10 years, right? Is this that guy? Or is there another generational talent that you can take somewhere else? Like a Will, we can talk about Will Anderson a lot, When you look at where the Rams pick's coming in for us, it's going to be a top 5, top 3 pick. That is huge value. I mean, we could always look to trade down out of that and accrue more picks for Brad Holmes because clearly the man knows how to find talent. I mean, we're having rookies just hit and pop every single game now. We have had all of these players start popping for us from every single pick. So I'm not unopposed to the idea of trading the Rams pick back for more draft picks because Brad Holmes clearly knows what he's doing. So if it were me, I would pass on a day 1 quarterback. I think Jared Goff can continue to grow in our offense. He's only 28 years old. He's not old and busted. He's got more miles on the tires yet. And if he understands Ben Johnson's offense and he's able to execute it and we're having the success, I mean, our offense, there is no team in the NFL that has had more 30-point games than the Detroit Lions. We are one of the most volatile, high-scoring offenses, which is why Ben Johnson's name's starting to be kicked around for a head coaching job. I don't think Ben Johnson's going to go anywhere. I hope Ben Johnson doesn't go anywhere. Sheila Ford better just bust out that checkbook and start putting as many zeros behind it as he wants, because he is clearly executing our offensive plan and being able to pick apart defenses. And then he's able to communicate with not only the players, but the position coaches to help execute it. It definitely helps when you have an offensive line that, if you guys weren't paying attention, Jared Goff yesterday was able to just stand back there and prepare a 5-course meal. It was awesome. And then with DeAndre Swift at least being productive, not so much Jay Willie, but still having some semblance of a running game, Jared Goff is an amazing play-action quarterback. So, look, I'm on the Jared Goff train. I'm in camp Jared Goff right now. Okay, right now. Now, guess what? I can flip-flop. I can change my opinion come the offseason. But right now, after the Week 13 performance and the fact that we've won 4 of our last 5 games, and when you look at the rest of the season, it's feasible that we could win out. I mean, there's no reason that we can't win out. We can beat the Minnesota Vikings. We can beat the Jets. The rest of the schedule is kind of a wash, though the Bears do kind of freak me out a little bit because Justin Fields is very good at playing football. The other question that we need to ask ourselves, fellas, is that realistically, are the Lions a playoff contender or are we a playoff pretender? okay? I know that a lot of things have to go right, and the first thing that had to go right was the outcome of the Giants and Washington Commies game, and that game ended in a tie, which was the worst possible situation for us, because so you have your division winners, right? And then you got your wild card spots, which are probably going to go to the Cowboys, are going to get one of them, and the Seattle Seabags are probably going to get another one. There's a lot of things that need to go right for us to get into the playoffs. A lot of it is out of our control. I don't know if we're really going to be able to win out. I think we can, but I'm honestly more scared of the Bears game than I am against playing the Jets or playing the Vikings, because right now we have the momentum, and we almost beat the Vikings last go around, right? And the Jets are good. Mike White is good, and Robert Saleh is a hell of a coach. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Robert Saleh, but I think we're focusing on them two teams a little too hard because they're actually winning teams, and I'm pretty sure that the Bears are the team that we need to worry about, because the Bears at that point in the season will have nothing to lose, but man, Justin Fields is very, very good. Can we win out? Sure. Will we win out? Probably not. Does 8-9 get you in the playoffs? No, 8-9 doesn't get you into the playoffs. If we go 8-9, though, that's a hell of a turnaround from last season, guys. That is better than we really should have expected, considering Vegas gave our win total at 6.5. I was hoping we'd win between 9 and 12 games. You know, starting 1-6 really set us back, though, fellas. It really set us back. And there were a lot of hiccups and a lot of growing pains that not only the players but the coaching staff had to deal with as well. There was some turmoil. That's why we had to make some changes. That's why Aubrey Pleasant got low, and I was wrong. Okay, Aubrey Pleasant was clearly the problem, not Aaron Glenn. I was wrong. I'm big enough to admit that I was wrong about that. I love the way everything is trending, okay? When you look at how the franchise has progressed from when Dan Campbell came in a year and a half ago to where we are now to where we will be poised to be for next season, okay? Next season is the money season. Next season, 2023 and 2024 are when you really need to see us competing for division titles, and when I think the reality of it will set in that we will be competing for division titles, because if you keep letting Brad Holmes draft all of these players and bring in all this talent on rookie contracts, you're going to be able to elevate the play of a Jared Goff, because you're going to be able to spend bigger money on a better free agent acquisition that will help elevate the play of the offense or help elevate the play of the defense. Everything is trending for us in the right direction right now, but I'd love to see us make the playoffs, but I just don't think that's going to be a possibility, fellas. I just don't think it's going to be a possibility. There's too many things outside of our control. There's just too many things outside of our control, fellas. Like, short of us winning out, there's very, very little chance. And I'd love to see it. And we're the fact that we're having this conversation right now, boys, the fact that we're sitting here talking about meaningful games in December and actually calculating how the Lions could make the playoffs, that were in the graphic, that were on the screen for an in the hunt team, is all you could really want for in the second year of a complete rebuild with the dumpster fire that we had and the magic that Brad Holmes has been able to cook up. And I can't take it away from him. Dan Campbell, as a head coach, has grown more than most coaches do in 2 years, okay? He has really turned it around in just the past 6 weeks. So we're right on schedule. Sunday was a great game. The future's looking bright for us, guys. I hope everybody had a great Sunday and that you're able to enjoy and carry the momentum into your Monday, and that it starts your week off great, because this winning shit feels nice, doesn't it? This winning shit is kind of nice. I can get used to this. It definitely makes my week go by a lot better when the Lions perform better. All right, so, well, that's going to do it for me, guys. I know this is kind of a weird rambling video. If you have anything you want to talk about, go ahead and drop a comment down below if you made it this long. I really appreciate it. And look, we'll catch you guys in the preview video where we talk about the Week 14 matchup against the Minnesota Vikings, a game that I think we can totally win. So we'll see you guys in that one. Have a good week, and we'll see you later. Peace.
Time to 23 skidoo. Or should I say 69 skidoo.